Been in a desert for what feels like forever. Your rations ran out 3 days ago. You're considering the nourishment and value of cactus and wonder if sand will taste like brown sugar or brown shit. Leaning towards the latter and hoping for the former, you glimpse a waterfall on the horizon. It's bookended by some lush palm trees. Your heart skips a beat and you thank the gods and stumble forward. Woo! All the while wondering how in the hell are you going to crack open that first beautiful coconut since your tired ass dropped all your tools 2 days ago. You abandon all those negative thoughts and jump into the grotto, only to faceplant mouth open and now filled with sand. Yep, tastes like brown shit, and your nostrils are invaded with ozone. The ancient blue shark fang smiles down at you and even winks. That almost endearing smile opens up, and enough lightning to make Nikola Tesla blush slams into you, and no matter how many saving throws you roll, it's now death save time. You fell for one of the Blue Dragon's most reliable magics. Welcome back, and thanks for tuning in with us today at Orc Soup for the Dragon Soul. We're going to continue on with our Blue Dragon series, talk about some lair and regional effects, then we're going to hit on some of the more famous or well-known Blue Dragons in D&D canon, and we're also going to take a look at some of our homebrew and role-playing ideas, so let's get after it. You'll know when you're in the region near a storm dragon's lair by the amount of thunderstorms popping off within a 6-mile radius. There will also be sinkholes and sandstorms galore to screw with you all day long. The residents of the area may come down with a bad case of the blue luster, and no, this isn't the sudden urge to smoke weed and jam out to B.B. King songs. It's the constant fascination with anything blue and the need to acquire such thing. Also within that 6-mile radius, you will encounter the Blues minions, pets, and entourage. This could include a party such as yours. They will have guards, fighters, knights, clerics, bards, warriors, wizards, lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, drunken idiots at their command. Depending on the storm dragon, you may even face some younger ones that are under their tutelage. Their reach will go beyond their territory. They will have spies in the surrounding cities to warn them of your approach, not to mention they can see trouble coming from up to 40 miles away with their own eyes. As you can see, depending on how much wealth and magic they've amassed over their lifetime, their lair can be quite elaborate. If you somehow manage to get past all these defenses, the Blue Dragon will relish the chance at combat, and they won't back down until they're on the brink of death, and then they'll take off, and they can fly for days. Now, one of the more famous dragons in D&D canon is Imrith. She's known as the Dragon of the Statues and the Doom of the Desert. She commands an army of gargoyles and has studied magic for centuries. Now, she did this in the hopes of eventually becoming a god. She often appears as a storm giant. Now, once in her storm giant form, she would infiltrate their camp and become a mentor to the children, and then turn the children against the parents. She also was very demanding on her own children, Anaxer and Chezran, though she was more than willing to help them with her considerable resources. Now, Imrith's story is amazing, and when I have more time to map it out better, I might do a deeper dive, but right now we're going to move on to the Baldur's Gate famous Abazagal. You might know from such lines as, "Go for the eyes, boo! Go for the eyes, boo!" That, of course, is Mink's line from that game. But we're going to talk about Abazagal, and Abazagal was a Baalspawn blue dragon from the lands of Intrigue, and it was also one of the 5. Now, as with many of the dragons, Abazagal was supremely confident, believing that only those of draconic heritage were strong enough and worthy of possessing that Baal's divine power, which if you played the game, you're more than familiar with. Abazagal could assume the form of either a humanoid hybrid with reptilian features, or, of course, its natural state as a dragon. And when in humanoid form, Abazagal wielded that sweet great sword of Grom. And he was also in possession of one of the missing heads of the legendary Flail of Ages, which, you had to seek out in that game. Now, the blue dragon Abazagal had a son named Draconis, who was surprisingly enough a brown dragon. Now, if you finish that game, you'll know that that encounter with a Bazagal was a pain in the ass, but you did have to yeet him at the end of it. Now, another really cool dragon that we mentioned right at the beginning is Sharpfang. And she was relentless from when she was a young wormling of only 5 years old. She was in pursuit of her horde already. And then she proceeded to have a millennia-long confrontation with the Shun and Shun 4 and Shun 5 and Shun 6 and Shun 7. Final battle with Shun 7, she left 75,000 bystanders and the city destroyed. Shun's right leg and left arm, her own wing was shredded, and she was eventually driven off. Shun 7, however, used his injuries as a ploy to fake his death and become a lich. His successors, terrified of Sharpfang, as they now called her, agreed to pay her tribute for centuries lest she not attack again. Now there's some more pretty cool ones in the D&D canon. There's also some pretty interesting ones in the Pathfinder canon. We're going to talk about an ancient blue whose years none could tell you except maybe the gods themselves. She resides and watches over the hidden city with her name. The city is a haven for all those who are granted passage. No crime or battle takes place there unless it's in the great arena. The arena is run by her #1 general and trustee, a fire giant named Reeves. And now Reeves she saved as a toddler from the jaws of a hungry red dragon. The city itself is separated into 4 sections. And those 4 sections are separated by 4 roads, and all roads lead to the center where the great arena is located. The 4 sections, as they are referred to by their citizens, are Heaven's Ward, Demon's Ward, Indigo, and the Underside. All are indebted to her, and she rules evenly, or some would say passively, to their knowledge. The magic that she guards and wields to maintain the city's movement from plain to plain and desert to desert across those plains is older than most. She also harbors a great secret. She is the child of a blue that fell in love with a brass dragon. Now, blues and brass hate each other. However, that unique combination is what she seeks to find in an heir to her life's work. She's known to all of them as a sovereign katana. Now, before I go off on a tangent on the dichotomy of the 4 wards that are in Katana, or I get into her scandalous photos in Blue Dragon Monthly, I'm going to talk about Blue Dragon's treasures because it just occurred to me that I haven't spoken about that, and we're on the 2nd video already. Now, blue dragons, they have strict standards for what treasure they allow into their hordes, and they reject valuable objects that don't meet those standards. One blue dragon might keep only treasure that coordinates visually with the other items in the horde, while another might focus on artwork from a particular period or seek out jewelry made by rulers from certain regions. Blue dragons' hordes are an enormous source of pride, and these dragons are insulted by offerings that don't meet these standards. Blue dragons favor blue, purple, and green gemstones, art depicting oases and fountains, fine textiles and cool colors. They also love scents that evoke storms and rains, and magic items that produce weather effects. Now, as far as role-playing goes, you could start off with the old reliable, I enforce order and social hierarchies because I believe this is how strong societies are built. Then you could go also with the whimsical, why waste time and energy murdering weaker creatures when I can make them entertain me instead? There's always the sobbing, oh, my children, whether born to me or chosen by me, are treasures. Santa, I know him. Then we got the,
nothing's funnier than tricking a thirsty traveler into drinking a mouthful of sand.
Don't ask me how that turned into the leprechaun from Lucky Charms. I have no idea. You could go with the lofty,
I have standards for my horde, not just any gem or trinket will do.
You could go with, I'm so pleased with myself and my own good fortune that I can't stop laughing and chuckling. Yeah, there's a whole bunch that you could go with. Some not quite as annoying as others. Now, if you made it this far, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you. No, I thank you truly from the bottom of my heart. Please smash that like and subscribe button, and I'm going to get back to you real soon with our next video. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.